Too long a dead hand has been permitted to sterilize living thought. Too long right and wrong, good and evil have been inverted by false prophets. No creed must be accepted upon authority of a divine nature. Religions must be put to the question. No moral dogma must be taken for granted. No standard of measurement deified. The Satanic Bible ain't on lady.
Hello, I thought it would be interesting to look at basic points in satanic belief, and to address some of the questions in the Satanic Bible.
The Book of Satan I won. In this arid wilderness of steel and stone I raise up my voice that you may hear. To the east and to the west I beckon. To the north and to the south I show a sign proclaiming death to the weakling, wealth to the strong. 2. Open your eyes that you may see, O men of mildewed minds, and listen to me, ye bewildered millions. 3. For I stand forth to challenge the wisdom of the world, to interrogate the laws of man and of God. 4. I request reason for your golden rule and ask the why and wherefore of your 10 commandments.
Since strength is relative, and there can only be one person at the top, and to that person all others are weak, and Levi is not the most powerful man in the world, then is he not wishing death upon himself and you as well? Furthermore, if there is a God, and he is the creator, then wouldn't he be the most powerful being in creation? So then is Levi not praising God? Now for the golden rule. Let us imagine that 4 people are locked in a room. All 4 of them do the opposite of the golden rule. Since everybody wants to be treated with respect, they treat each other with disrespect. Each person starts to get angry. Each decides to treat the other 3 with even more disrespect, either to get even or because they deserve it. Things eventually become so bad that they began to fight. One outcome might be that they will all kill each other. Another outcome could be that one is injured but survives and the other don't. A third outcome could be that all 4 survive, though all are hurt. One is the clear winner. Now, let's look at pros and cons of these 3 outcomes. Let's start with the first. Not much to talk about there. They're all dead. So, let's mossy along to the second outcome. Here we have a pulse. But there's only one person left, and he's hurt. How much can one hurt man accomplish by himself? How about that quality of life? Most people don't like being alone, or being hurt for that matter. And now for that last one. Everybody's alive, hurt, and all 4 know who the strongest is. So the strongest now begins to dominate the weaker ones. So the weaker one despise him, but are afraid of him. The strongest knows that the others hate him and fear him. If he's smart, he will also know that any moment of weakness or weariness, the second his guard is down, the 3 will work together to put an end to him. So, if he is smart, he won't relax. If he does relax and enjoy himself, he's dead. Now let imagine that 4 people are locked in a room. All 4 of them follow the golden rule. They treat each other with respect. Help each other when they need help, because each of them would want help if they needed help. Forgave each other when it was needed, because each one knew that they were not perfect and would need and or want forgiveness from in the future, or needed or wanted it in the past. And they didn't want to be hypocrites. And they apologized when they did something wrong. They would then grow fond of each other and would enjoy each other's company. So every hour they spent together wouldn't be fun. And none of them would have to fear anything, least of all each other. The 10 Commandments. To follow them would be like following the golden rule. You shall not murder. You shall not steal. Do you want to be murdered or robbed? You shall not commit adultery. Do you want to be cheated on by your wife? You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Do you want someone to lie on you? You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. The reason for this one is because the breaking of this one leads to the breaking of the others. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. This was the day he wanted the Hebrews to worship him. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. He finds it annoying. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. He had a covenant with them to be their God. And there can only be one leader. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. People were worshipping stone blocks of wood and carvings. It's like if someone brought home a can of Lysol and began worshipping it.
Love one another, it has been said, is the supreme law, but what power made it so? Upon what rational authority does the gospel of love rest? Why should I not hate mine enemies if I love them? Does that not place me at their mercy? Is it natural for enemies to do good unto each other, and what is good? Can the torn and bloody victim love the blood-splashed jaws that rend him limb from limb? Page 18, the Satanic Bible.
The Creator made it so. Truth and logic make it so. Remember the first 3 scenarios for the Golden Rule? Those were based on hate. The question isn't is it natural, it's is it beneficial? And the answer is yes. What is meant by good in, do good to your enemies, to help them when they need it and do things that are beneficial for them.
The 7 deadly sins of the Christian Church are greed, pride, envy, anger, gluttony, lust, and sloth. Satanism advocates indulging in each of these sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. A Satanist knows there is nothing wrong with being greedy, as it only means that he wants more than he already has. Envy means to look with favor upon the possessions of others, and to be desirous of obtaining similar things for oneself. Envy and greed are the motivating forces of ambition, and without ambition, very little of any importance would be accomplished. Gluttony is simply eating more than you need to keep yourself alive. When you have overeaten to the point of obesity, another sin, pride, will motivate you to regain an appearance that will renew your self-respect. Anyone who buys an article of clothing for a purpose other than covering his body and protecting it from the elements is guilty of pride. Satanists often encounter scoffers who maintain that labels are not necessary. It must be pointed out to these destroyers of labels that one or many articles they themselves are wearing are not necessary to keep them warm. There is not a person on this earth who is completely devoid of ornamentation. The Satanist points out that any ornamentation of the scoffer's body shows that he, too, is guilty of pride. Regardless of how verbose the cynic may be in his intellectual description of how free he is still wearing the elements of pride. Being reluctant to get up in the morning is to be guilty of sloth, and if you lie in bed long enough you may find yourself committing yet another sin, lust. To have the faintest stirring of sexual desire is to be guilty of lust. In order to ensure the propagation of humanity, nature made lust the second most powerful instinct, the first being self-preservation. Realizing this, the Christian Church made fornication the original sin. In this way they made sure no one would escape sin.